Hey guys, I'm Deepthi Desikan and this video is going to be all about lip tints, lip stains. These are the ones that I own and I don't really have anything else apart from these to share with you guys. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about some of my favorite ones, the ones that I don't really like as much, which one is more long lasting and all of that. First up, I'm going to be talking about all of these lip and cheek tints, like these jelly tints. So I actually bought all of these to compare it with the Milk Makeup jelly tint, which I also own right here. But some of these have disappointed me so much and the formulation is not that good and it has actually fallen apart over a span of almost like 3 to 4 months, I believe. So the first one I have is the Tipsy Beauty Soak It Hydra Jelly Tint. When you apply it on your cheek, it's a little bit harder to blend. So I was saving this up to use it on my lips, okay, because on the lips it leaves a very nice stain and it's also very long lasting. But what the problem is that it's completely fallen apart in the tube itself, and it's like, see, yeah, this is all the product you get and it's just a fail in my opinion. Like, the stain and everything is beautiful, it's long lasting, it's not very drying, but how do you get to use this particular product? And this was not even cheap, so I would say skip this. So this one is in the shade Black Cherry, by the way, and the next one is also like similar condition. This one is the La Mer tint in the shade Rosy Glow. Again, completely fallen apart. I cannot even get to use this one up. So these are hard to blend on the cheek, and on the lip it's literally impossible to use this anymore. So I would say skip on these. But the ones that I really like are, for the lip, I like the Milk Makeup Cooling Water Jelly Tint. I don't really like this on my cheek, but on my lip I really like it. It's not very pigmented for my lips. It's really nice if you have like even pigmentation on your lips. You don't really have dual tone lips and like sort of darker lips, okay? So this is in the shade Splash, which is a deeper sort of like a berry shade, and this is like very subtle tint on my lips, but on my cheek it's a little bit harder to blend, so I don't really use this one on my cheek. But on my lips it's okay. It's not the best, not a very bad product, but it's very pricey, so I would say skip on this one as well. But the alternatives are really nice. This one is from Makeup Revolution, and this is their Jelly Blush Lip and Cheek Stain in the shade Cherry. This has a very nice pigmented stain, very moisturizing on the lips, quite long lasting as well, and it's like a very subtle like stain, so it's not something that is very intense. These don't leave those intense stains like your liquid tints do. This just leaves that subtle wash of color if you want to apply it for your day-to-day usage, if you're going to the gym and everything. It's really nice. And this one is in the shade Cherry, like I mentioned, and I really like this one. It blends really well on the cheek as well as on the lips. And then the Prosh Beauty Lip and Cheek Tint in the shade Raspberry Mood. This is also a really nice cheek stain because it has a little bit of red undertone to it, and it works really well for me. I really like it for my day-to-day usage, and it's also really nice on the lips. It's a little bit more subtle than the Makeup Revolution one, but it leaves a very subtle red stain, and it's also not fallen apart in the tube itself. With that, we complete all of these squishy jelly tints, and now moving on to the actual like lip stains. So the one that I have on my lip right now, this one is the rom&nd Juicy Lasting Stain in the shade Figfig. This is my most used shade after Dark Coconut. That one is a very like nude brown shade for my lips. It's like literally blends with my natural lip color, but this is something that gives me that very nice rosy glossy glow. The first application of this, it again merges with my lips and it just sort of like blends into my lips, so I leave it on for like 5 minutes and then reapply it, and then it gives this really nice glossy stain. And once you take this one off, it's not the most long lasting stain. I've not lined my lips, so ideally how I like to use these lip stains is I like to use a lip liner, something that is on a pinkier tone, and then use this because it's a little bit more long lasting that way. Or I will also talk about another lip product that I like to use along with these stains, because these are not long lasting. The stain that it leaves is not long lasting, but it's very moisturizing on the lips. I love the gloss it gives, and I've used this one so much without even realizing that I will be using it up this much, especially this shade Figfig. There are shades like Nucademia and everything which is very muted for my lips, and it's like barely there. It's like literally like my lip shade, so I don't really use it as much. But this is something that I've used the most, and I recommend picking up this shade, Dark Coconut, and all of that. I have done an entire dedicated swatch video on that. So now I'm going to be taking the stain off to show you guys how it looks. So I'm going to be using like a plain cotton pad because I just want to show you guys like how it looks, and then use a micellar water. So So this is a stain it leaves behind. It's very, very subtle. It's there, but it's very natural and it looks really nice. It's very hydrating on the lips. So I would highly suggest you guys pick this shade up. So I've used micellar water to take it off and you can see it's not that intense anymore. The next one we have is the Lamel lip stain. This is the hydrating lip tint in the shade Confidence. Now I got the wrong shade for this. This is like a very nude lip stain. It would work out for you if you have light and light medium skin tones. But the reason I really like this is it's extremely hydrating on the lips. Like even if you have dry flaky lips, it's very, very hydrating. It feels so good. And I want to pick up like the deeper shade in this, but because I have so many lip products, I don't really want to pick up another shade. But I would suggest you guys try out some of their deeper shades. I think they have 2 other shades and one of it is a little bit deeper. You can try it out because deeper shades would stain your lips a lot better than something that is so nude. It has that shine, it has that hydration. It's something that is great for everyday use. And then the next one we have is one of my favorite products, but not a lot of people really like it. But if you are on a budget and rom&nd is a little bit too expensive for you, you can try this one out. This one is the Mask Lip Drip Mist. This one is in the shade Cocoa Drip. Now this one doesn't stain your lips as much because it's a very brown shade. It doesn't have as much pink or red tones to it, and red and pink are the ones that would leave an intense stain behind. But it looks very nice if you are looking for something like that is similar to Dark Coconut from rom&nd. This is exactly similar to that. And also if you are looking for something that is a little bit more brown toned. And one thing a lot of people mentioned is that this has a very chemical scent. I hated it. It burned my lips and all of that. I get all sorts of comments on that shorts video that I made. I don't have any such issue with this. I don't feel like it smells like a chemical or something. It smells very, very like, it smells somewhat like a vanilla-ish scent. So it depends on you, your personal preference. Some people have mentioned that it turned their lips extremely dark. I don't know if it is like a psychological thing or if people are actually facing that issue with lips turning a lot darker. I have not faced any such issue, so I can't really comment about it myself. Another shade from this Mask Lip stain that you can try out that leaves a more intense stain behind is Rosewood Drip. This is more red toned. I love this one too, and this is also one of my most used lip stains. The stain this leaves behind seems to be a little bit more intense. Now the next product I have is a little bit controversial. Not a lot of people really like it. You have to figure out a way to work around this product. You have to apply a very thin layer of it, let it dry down on your lips, and then you can top it off with something else. But it is certainly very, very long lasting. Can be very drying, especially the older shades. This one is the Maybelline Terry Tint. This one is in the shade Mascara Tear. Now this, I feel like the newer shades feel a lot more hydrating on my lips compared to the older shades that I have. So what I like to do is sometimes when I feel like the older shades are very drying, I like to apply a thin layer of that and then top it off with either one of these lip tints, like the rom&nd ones or the Mask Lip Drip Mist. And what I feel like is it gives you that glossy effect. It's very nourishing on the lips, and because these lip tints are not the most long lasting ones, when it fades away, this Maybelline one takes over. And the newer shades are not as heavy feeling on the lips, not very sticky, and not something that feels extremely uncomfortable. Now, I'm not going to deny the fact that this is a product that you have to figure out a way to use. It's not a very easy, user-friendly, beginner-friendly product, but once you get your hang around it, I think it's a nice product, okay? Especially the newer shades. This shade in Mascara Tear, just look at it. It looks so beautiful, but not extremely sticky and drying. I'm able to purse my lips together as well, and it feels super lightweight. Has it become 100% transfer proof? Not yet. You have to let it rest on your lips. You're not supposed to speak as much as I'm speaking, not supposed to purse your lips together, not apply too much of it, and then it actually does eventually become transfer proof. So it's up to you if you want to try it out or no. But yeah, I have swatched the newer shades in a shorts video, and you can try anything that works out for you from that range, and most of those are very comfortable compared to the original launch. It's not easy to take this off also, especially after it sets. It's even, it looks nice on the lips. Micellar water because it has oil in it. I'm hoping that this helps take it off. Taken it off, neutralized my lip with some concealer. Next one is the Kiro Lip and Cheek Tint in the shade Raspberry Compote. This has a very thin, airy, lightweight formulation. The shades are a little bit brighter, especially the shade. I think a lot of people wouldn't really like it this bright, and they have just 3 other shades, I believe. But yeah, I like it because it's very comfortable, but not the most long-lasting stain. And also this one is smelling a little bit rancid in the tube. I think it is expired. They don't really have a long shelf life because Kiro is supposed to be like a clean beauty brand. So just keep that in mind, but it's extremely lightweight and hydrating. It feels like literally nothing on the lips. A very subtle tint, and this is also not very long lasting. The next product I have is something that is so unique to my collection, and I don't really own a lip tint, lip stain like this one. This is the Tony Moly, what is it called? Okay, it's a Tony Moly lip stain. I have this one in the shade. Why is everything in Korean? Great. I'm not sure of the shade of this one. I will try to find it. I like this a lot because it has a very different texture. It's not your typical runny lip stains. It has that sort of silicone feel on the lips. It is a little bit like a moussey silicone texture. It's not extremely pigmented, but it feels extremely lightweight on the lips, and it also is very blurring, and it just sits on your lip so nicely. It doesn't have any gloss, it doesn't have any of that runny texture, but it just feels super lightweight and non-drying on the lips, and that's the reason I really like this. Now about the stain, again, not a very intense stain is left behind, and it is not something that would last you for an entire meal even, but just the feel of it is really nice. It's transfer proof, and it just looks really good if you have very dry, flaky lips, cracked lips, a lot of lines on your lips. Try this one out. It is not affordable, it is a little bit pricey, so if you can find this on discount, pick it up. The next one I have is the Etude House Fixing Tint in Soft Walnut. This is like your matte liquid lipstick, but a lighter version of it. Like not a very intensely pigmented liquid lipstick, but something that feels very lightweight on your lips. So this is like a matte stain. I like it for that reason, that it's extremely lightweight, it's comfortable, it's sort of transfer proof, and it just feels nice on the lips. But the stain it leaves is not the most long lasting, but I reach out for this because of that feel and the shades that they have. If you wanted that same Etude House sort of a product but with a more intense stain, and when it fades away also it has a very intense long lasting stain, and you want deeper shades, not very muted shades, you should try out this one from Mars. This one is their One Love Velvet Lip Tint, and this one particularly is in the shade One Love. I also have a lot of other shades as well from this range, but this one is my most used shade, and you can see it is very pigmented. So if you're very dark pigmented lips, two-tone lips, you'd really like it, especially if you have medium tan skin tones. And I like it for that reason, that it can mask up the pigmentation of my lips too. I do have some muted shades in this range, but not as muted as a lot of people expect it to be, so just keep that in mind. You can see the stain it leaves behind is pretty intense, even if you eat something and all of that. The next one is also a matte lip stain. They call this a matte liquid lip stain. This one is from Lamel. This is their Posh Matte Liquid Lip Stain in the shade Mahogany. This is a very cool toned light shade for my skin tone. I'm not sure if they have any other shade as well. This is like a matte liquid lipstick, but a more lightweight version of that. Doesn't transfer. The stain of this comes off if you touch any like oily food on it or anything. It just comes off very easily. But if you're just wearing it on its own, it's very lightweight if that's what you're looking at. But because the shade is so cool tone, I never reach out for it. The next one I have is this Innisfree Fruity Squeeze Tint. This is in the shade Red Brown. The scent on this one is extremely strong, so just keep that in mind. I can't really describe the scent, but it's not a very pleasant scent. And also, because this is such a dark shade, it can look a tad bit patchy, but I really love this stain. I love how pigmented it is, how lightweight it feels on the lips, very moisturizing, and the stain it leaves behind is pretty intense. The next one is the new Benefit Benetint in the shade Dark Cherry. I didn't like the original launch of this one, but the deeper shades that they've launched, I really like it. I really like this stain on my lips, and it's very watery. It's extremely thin in terms of formulation, so just keep that in mind. And you get an even thin layer. It feels very nice and moisturizing, and the stain it leaves behind, because it's so thin and not creamy, is quite long lasting as well. And if you wanted to try out the newer shade, you most certainly can. This works as your lip and cheek tint. So it won't come off easily. I'm going to be using an oil-based micellar water. Even then, it's a little bit hard to take it off. One of the best lip stains I've used, my most used one, is the LA Girl Glossy Lip Stain. This is in the shade Divine. It's pigmented, it's glossy, it has a very moisturizing, nourishing formula. It doesn't dry your lip out. And even the stain it leaves behind is pretty good. It's pretty intense and it lasts on my lips for a really long time, even though it's so glossy. So this is something I highly recommend you guys try out. I have the shade Divine and the shade Myth. One thing I've noticed is that I own this for a while now. They are starting to kind of separate in the tube itself, so they don't really have a very huge shelf life. So in case you're planning to like finish it up really fast to use it on a daily basis, you can get it. Otherwise you can skip on it. So that's pretty much it. My lips are on fire because swatching lip stains is not easy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I will make sure to leave all the links in the description box below for you to check it out, and let me know what other videos you'd like to watch in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.